Hello everybody, welcome back to our HTML and CSS tutorial. In the previous episode, we have discussed how to create a landing page in HTML and CSS, and that landing page is what we consider as our first exercise in this series. And in today's episode, we are going to be creating our second exercise. And for our second exercise, what we are going to be creating is an image gallery. So let me show you the image gallery we are going to be creating for today's episode. As you can see, this is the image gallery we are going to be creating. It's a fancy image gallery that has all these images in this kind of pattern, and they have this hover effect that if you hover around them, you will see them becoming a little bit darker with their shadow becoming much more clear, and they will have this title at their bottom right here. And the arrangement approach is very fancy, and as you can see, this is what we are going to be creating for today's episode. It is just a fancy image gallery looking so fancy, and at the bottom we have added our social media icons. We linked them using Font Awesome. So even for this episode, we're going to be adding Font Awesome CDN link. So what we are going to do is that, and the thing is that I have left a link in the description where you can go and download all these images that I've used in this episode. If you want to have the same images as me, you can just go on and download them. And I'll leave the link in the description. All you have to do for downloading these ones is that you go to my blog right here. As you can see, you just go and click on read more, and you scroll down. You find a download button right here, or you find another download button right here. Each one of these download button is working. If you click it like this, your download is going to start automatically. You will download the zip file, as you can see right here. Let's wait for it to finish downloading. I'll just show you how you can set up everything before we just move on. It is very easy. So let's wait for it to finish downloading. As you can see, it is downloading very fast because I have a very good internet speed right now. And after the download, you just go into your download folder like this. Let me just go into my download folder. And I already have my folder right here. So let me just go into my download folder like this. As you can see, I have it right here. And what you're going to do is that you will just right click on this folder and you just go on extract files here. You will click it, and as you can see, it has extracted the img folder inside your download folder. So what you need to do is that you copy this folder right here. Let's see, let's copy it, Control C, or you can just do the same method that I use, and we're going to paste it inside we're going to paste it right here. I already have the image folder. That is why I'm not going to paste it. But what you need to do is just go on right click and paste it inside here. You will have this img folder inside the same directory as your lessons files, just like the way I have it. And if you open up this folder, you'll see these are all the images we have used in the image gallery. You're going to have them all in order with the same name as mine. So you don't have to worry about finding other images and stuff like that. But so if we already have everything ready like this, let's just go back inside our text editor and start writing the code. And there is also something I need you to understand, is because if you realize it, the thing is that what we did right here is that we have our lessons files right here, and we have another separate folder that has img, that has all our images. The reason I did this is that I just want you to understand that there are a lot of ways you can add images inside a website, and not just by only having them in the same directory as your lessons files, like the way we normally used to do all the time. Today we are going to be trying a new approach, and this is a much more better one when you have a lot of images, because let's assume I am to have all these images that I have inside this folder, all of them as the same folder as my lessons files. It will just be not clean. It will just be a little bit messy having all the images and my lessons files in the same directory. This is going to be looking so good. It's not a problem, but it will not give us this clean architecture structure we want for our files. And having it this way is much more better. Having a separate folder for our images, and then we will have our lessons files in the same place, not in the same directory like we normally used to do. Technically, they are in the same directory, but not actually in the same directory. So don't worry. What you're going to do is that I will show you how you can link all these images from this folder with your lessons files. But for now, let's go back inside our text editor and start writing the code for today's episode, since you have already get all the things you need for the coding to begin. And by the way, just don't forget to add your Font Awesome CDN link, because you want to have those social media icons that we're going to be linking from Font Awesome. And let's just begin writing our today's code. And you guys need to know that today we are going to be writing a lot of code. So today's episode is going to be one of our longest episodes, because we're going to be adding a lot of HTML, and at the same time we're also going to be adding a lot of CSS, just for you to have a better understanding of what we're going to do. And before we start, I want to say this also. I'm going to imply commenting into this episode, because we're going to be having a lot of HTML and a lot of CSS. That is, the code we're going to be writing is going to be a lot. So we're going to implement commenting approach. Whatever we do, every step of the way, we are going to be adding a comment to it, so that you guys can have a better understanding of what we are doing at the time we're doing it. So let's begin writing the code. First of all, let's start by creating a div tag like this. And let's give a class to our div tag. The class we're going to be giving this div tag, let's call it something like gallery container. Let's see, gallery dash container, like this. And let's come down right here, and let's start by adding a comment right here. And to add a comment, as you all know, we just need to do this. And let's come here, and let's just see, for this comment, what we're going to do is that we're going to be adding the page title. So let's just say page title like this, and that's it. Let's come down right here and create a header tag like this. And inside this header tag, what we're going to do is that we're also going to be giving it a class, and the class we're going to be giving this header tag will be called something like gallery header. So let's just say gallery dash header like this. And let's come down right here and create a h1 tag. And for this h1, what we're going to do is that let's add the text welcome to our stunning gallery. Let's say welcome to our stunning gallery like this. And I think it's okay. So let's come down right here and add a paragraph tag. And for this paragraph, what we're going to do is that let's also add a text. Explore a collection of breathtaking images from around the world. Like this. All right, we're done with this part of the header. So let's come down right here, and what we're going to do is that let me come right here, and let's also add another comment, since I have already told you we're going to be adding comments every step of the way, just for you to have a better understanding of what we're going to be doing today. And let's see, another comment dash dash. Let's come here, and let's see white image at the top. So we're going to be adding that white image at the top of our website after the header. This is what we're going to be adding. So let's come down right here and create another div tag for this one, and let's give it a class. And for the class of this one, what we're going to do is that let's give it gallery feature like this. Let's call the class gallery dash feature like this. And let's also come down right here inside our div tag and create an img tag like this. Since we already have, we are going to be adding an image, that white image at the top of our website. So let's add the name of our image. And as you know, we have our image in this different folder. Right here, we have our image in this folder, while we have our index.html and style.css outside. So to link an image that is from a different folder, just like the way we have it right here, what we're going to do is that we're going to start by adding a dot like this, and then / like this, the name of our folder img, then another / then the name of our image. And the name of our image is wide image.jpg like this. And now we have already linked that image. What we did is that we navigate through this, we are telling our file to go back and check for a folder that has image img, that has the name img, and search for the image that has the name whiteimage.jpg and add it inside our file. That is just technically what we did there. And now let's add the alternative text for our image. And the alternative text is just going to be white image, like this, white image. And let's just come down and add the text for this image. So for this text, what we're going to do is that let's just create a div tag and store the text inside it. But before that, let's give a class to this div tag like this. And the class we're going to be given this div tag, we're going to be giving it 2 classes. This is also something new. You can give 2 classes to 1 element, that is 1 tag inside HTML, just like we're going to do it right now. So the first class we're going to be given this div tag is going to be called gallery dash caption, like this. And all you have to do when you are trying to give 2 classes to 1 tag is that after the first name, you just space, like the way I'm doing right now. And then the second class will be feature dash caption, like this. So now technically what we did is that this div class has 2 classes. That is, the first class is gallery caption and the second class is feature caption, just like the way we have it right here. So for the text we're going to be adding to this one, let's say, is turning white view, since we're going to be adding a white image view at the top. So let's just say a turning white view, like this. And let's just leave it like this. So we're also done with this part. What we are going to do next is that let's come down right here and add another comment, since we're going to be implementing commenting approach for this episode. Let's add another comment and see, let's say section title, like this. Section title, since we're going to be adding the section title right here. So let's see section, like this, section tag, and let's give it a class like this. And for the class we're going to be given this one, we're going to be calling it gallery section, like this, gallery dash section, like this. And let's come down right here and give it a h2 tag, like this, h2. And for this h2, what we're going to do is that let's just say nature's wonders, like this, nature's wonders, like this. And let's come down right here and add a paragraph tag. And for this paragraph tag, what we're going to do is that we're going to be adding some text to it. And for this text, let's just type in something like discover the beauty of, let's see, discover the beauty of, let's see, landscape, like this, comma, mountains, I hope I'm spelling them correctly, and screen view, like this, screen view, like this. And let's just say views, since they're technically landscapes, mountains, and shrines. So they are views with an S, like this, even though I'm not good with grammar. So I think we're also done with this one. The next thing we need to do is, let's just come down right here and let's also add another comment. Just to make it fast, let's just copy this comment. Instead of just writing comment every time we're going to be adding a comment, let's just copy this one and let's paste it right here. Let's just change the text inside the comment. And for this one, what we're going to do is that let's call this one grade gallery, like this, grade dash gallery, like this. And we're supposed to add 2L right here. And let's come down right here and let's start by creating a div tag for this one as well. And let's give a class to our div tag. The class we're going to be given this one should be called something like gallery, like this. And let's also add another comment, because I want you to understand everything we are doing today. That is why I'm trying to implement commenting every step of the way, so that you won't just be following me, you will also be following me, understanding where we are at the moment. And adding commenting makes it much more easier for you to navigate through your code, even for you, like when you're coding. And what we're going to do is that for the commenting we're going to be adding here, let's just see, let's give it something like this. And yes, like this. For this one, the commenting we're going to be giving this one is that, let's say row 1 instead of our grid row 1, this one will be called row 1, like this. And let's come down right here and create another div tag like this. And for this div tag, what we're going to do is that, let's give it a class. And for the class, we're going to be giving this div tag is going to be called gallery item. And we're also going to be giving this one 2 classes, because I want it to be in a way that, let me just add the class, then I'll explain to you what I mean. Let's say the first class we're going to be giving it will be called gallery item, like this. Gallery dash item, like this. And then the second class, if I want to add this a second class, I'll just put a space between the 2 classes. Then it will technically be that we have 2 classes for that tag. So what I'm going to do is that this one, let's make it large. Because if you remember, let me show you something. Right here, inside our gallery, what we have is that we have like 3 images pattern. We can just see that, all right, this one can be our large image, this one our medium, and for this one we can just see it is our small image. So we are going to be making those classes in that approach. We are going to have large ones and medium ones, and then we are going to be having small ones. So we are going to be giving them 2 classes. This one is a class we are going to be giving them to group them in one place, and this one is also going to be grouping them in one place, but at the same time it's going to be the difference between all these images, so that they won't be having the same styling when we're going to be styling them. You understand everything once we have started writing the CSS, but for now I just need you to have this behind your mind. This is what I am trying to do with these 2 classes for this tag right now. And let's come down and add an image tag like this, and let's add our image. And since you already know how to add an image from different folder /, it already has our image, and the name of our first image we are going to be adding is going to be our image 1, like this. And for the alternative text for this one, let's just say image 1, like this, and let's just leave it like that, so that when we have a break image, we'll have something that will be displayed instead of just the break image we're going to be having. And let's also come down and give it a div tag. The thing is that let's add a div tag right here, and this div tag will be for the caption of this image that we're going to be having, because right now, as you can see, when we hover around our gallery, it has this caption right here. So this is what we're going to be adding right now. This div tag is for this caption that we're going to be adding right now. And what we're going to do is that, let's give a class to this div tag also. And for the class we're going to be giving it, it will be called gallery caption. Gallery dash caption, just like this one. Just like this one, we have gallery caption, just like this one we have right here. So what we're going to do is that, let's say beautiful landscape, just like that. And beautiful landscape, like this. And let's leave it like this. And I think we're also done with this div tag. And what we need to do is that, let's come down right here. And the thing is that what we're going to be adding beneath this ones is technically almost identical as what we have right here. We're only going to change some few things. So just to make it fast, let's just copy what we have right here with Ctrl+C, and let's come down right here and paste it one and paste it again. And first of all, let's start with changing this one, the second one. This one is not going to have this class large. We're going to make this one to medium, like this. And the name of our image, it should be image 2. And right here, we're also going to make it image 2, like this, image 2. And I think for this text right here, it is not going to be having this beautiful landscape. This one will be a screen lake, like this. Screen lake, like this. And for this one also, it shouldn't be large, it should be small, like this. Small, sorry, like this. Small, yes, small like this. And for the image is going to be image 3. And for this one as well, it is going to be image 3, like this. Oops, sorry, I have made a mistake right here. Let's just delete this one. Right here, I add the JPG twice. So it's like this, image3.jpg. This one, image3.jpg, it has small class. And for the text right here, we also need to change it to vibrant flowers, since we're going to be adding flowers there. Vibrant flowers. I hope I'll spell this flowers correctly. Flowers, I hope this is how you spell flowers, because it's hard to spell sometimes. I don't know why. And let's just come down right here. We are done with this row 1. We are going to move into our row 2. And for our row 2, what we are going to do is that let's also add a comment right here. Comment dash space, come in the middle. And let's just say for this one, let's say row 2, like this. And let's come down right here. Technically, what we're going to do is almost similar to whatever we have right here. So just to make it fast, let's copy everything and paste it here. We are just going to make some changes to make it unique, not identical as that one. First of all, let's start with the class. This one is not going to be having this large. This one is going to be having medium class, like this, medium. And for the image, this one is going to be having, I think, image 4. Yes, image of, since this one is a 3, this one is going to be having image 4 as well. And for this caption right here, what we're going to do is that instead of this beautiful landscape, let's make it golden sunset, like this, since we're going to be having a golden sunset image right here. So we're changing the name. And for this one also, instead of medium, let's make it large, like this. Large, like this, class large. And for this one is going to be image 5. Or this one is also going to be image 5 as well. And for this caption, instead of serene lake, let's make it peaceful mountain, since we're going to be adding mountain images there. Peaceful mountain, like this. And for this one also, instead of class small, I think for this one we're going to be leaving it class small, since this one is medium, this one is large. Let's just leave this one to class small. But let's change the image. With this one is going to be our image 6, right? Just like that. And this one, for this one also image 6. And let's change this caption to ocean bliss, since we're going to be having an ocean image there. Ocean bliss. Sorry, ocean bliss. It's like this. I think this is it. So now we are done with our first section. So right now what we're going to do is that let's come down right here, since we are done with this one, the first one, and let's also add another comment. Since, let me just show you something before we continue. As you can see, we have this approach. We have this nature's wonder right here, and this is our first, let's say, section of the gallery. And we have this urban adventure as our second section of the gallery, and we have this coastal dream as our third one. Now we are done with this one. This entire one, we are done with this nature's wonder. We are done with that section. We are moving to the next section, which is urban adventure. That is where we are going right now. We are going to be adding the images for this one right here. That is what we are going to be doing right now. So let's come down right here and add a comment. To add a comment, we already know dash space. Let's come here. And right now what we're going to do is that, since this one is going to be another section title, let's just say section title, like this. And let's come down right here. And what we're going to do is that let's create a section tag, like this, section, like this. And for this section, let's give it a class. Let's come right here. The class for this section, let's call it something like gallery section, just like the way we have for the first one, gallery section. And what we're going to do is that, let's say gallery dash section, just like this one. And let's come down right here and add a h2 tag like this. And for this h2, let's just say urban adventure like this. And let's also come down right here, and what we're going to do is that let's add a paragraph tag to add some more caption to it. Let's say immerse yourself in the vibrant colors and dynamic view of city life, like this. And let's just come down right here. I think we don't need this section tag. Let's just leave it like that. And let's come down right here and add another comment like this, dash dash space. Sorry, I normally used to put 3 dash dash. I don't know why. Like this. And let's see, for this one, we're going to be adding more grid items, since we're just going to continue creating our gallery. So let's just say more grid item like this. And let's come down right here and create another div tag like this. And for this div tag, what we're going to do is that let's give it a class. And for the class, we're going to be given this one. It's going to be called gallery, just like the first one. Class gallery like this. And let's come down right here and add another comment. Sorry, like this. And for the comment of this one, let's just say row 3, since we have our row 1, row 2. This one is going to be our row 3, like this. Row 3 like this. And let's come down right here and create a div tag like this. And for this div tag, what we're going to do is that let's also give it a class. And the class we're going to be given, this one is going to be called gallery item, just like the one we used to have. Gallery item right here. And it's going to have a second class of small like this. And let's also just come down right here and add an image, since we are just creating the gallery. So let's add an image. And for our image, let's see, we are going to be giving it, I think this one is supposed to be our image 7. Yes, this one is supposed to be our image 7, since yes, we have our image 6 right here. Then this one is definitely our image 7, just like that. So let's give it an alternative text of image 7, just like that. And let's come down right here and create a div tag for our caption. And this div tag, let's also give it a class. And the class we're going to be given, this one is going to be gallery caption, just like that. Gallery caption like this. And let's just come in right here and say city light with an S like this. And let's just copy it, since we're just going to be adding something similar like this. Let's paste it and paste it again. And for this one, instead of class small, let's make it medium like this. In this one also, instead of class small, let's make it large like this. And this one, instead of image 7, let's make it image 8. This one also image 8. And instead of city lights, let's make it urban skyline like this. Or urban skyline like this. And for this one, instead of image 7, let's also give it image 9 like this. And for this one also, let's make it image 9 gallery caption. Instead of city light, let's make it rooftop view. Rooftop view like this. And we're also done with this section. And we're moving into our next section. That is, we are also done with this one. We are also done with urban adventure. Since we're only going to be adding 3 images like this, we are moving into coastal dream. That is this one, last section. We're moving into that one right now. So let's come down. Or you know what, since we're only going to be adding almost everything the same, let's just copy whatever we have right here, right from the section right here. Let's copy everything we have with Ctrl C, and let's come down and paste it right here with Ctrl V like this. Let's just remove all these spaces. And what I need you to do is that since we have already copied everything we have right here, what we need to change is the name of this one, this H2. We need to change the name for this one. Instead of urban adventure, let's remove this one to coastal dream like this. I hope I did not confuse you, because what I just did is that I only copy what we just finished right now, and then I paste everything the same. And we're just going to make all these changes for this one, since whatever we have at the top is just going to be exactly as what we're going to be having right here, only some text differences, not the tag approach differences. So instead of this text, let's say, let's make it escape to tranquil beaches. Tranquil beaches. And let's see, amazing ocean vistas like this. And let's just leave it like that. We are also done with the editing for this one, and it is going to have, instead of just more grid item, you can just leave it more grid item, but let me just make it a little bit more different to final row of the grid items. Let's say final row of grid item, just like this. Let's see, this one, let's just leave it like this. You can add whatever comment you want, just make it in a way that you're going to understand what you did right there. When you come back, you're reading it again. And for this one is going to be, let's say, instead of row 3, let's say final row like this, final row like this, since we're not going to be adding any row apart from this one. But you can just make it all. Let's assume in the future you have this in mind that you want to add more images. You can just see, instead of final row, let's just make it row 4 instead of final row. Instead of just having it as our final row, let's just say row 4. You can always add more images with more grid approaches to them, but let's just leave it row 4. And for this one, instead of small, let's make it medium like this. And instead of image 7, what we're going to do is that I think we have our image 9 right here, so this one is going to be our image 10 like this. And let's also change this one to image 10. And instead of this city light, let's make it sunny beach. Sunny beach like this. And let's also come down to this one. Instead of medium, let's make it large like this. And instead of image 8, let's make it image 11. This one also image 11. And instead of urban skyline, what we're going to do is that, let's say crystal clear water, since that is what we're going to be adding. Crystal clear, water like this. And for this one also, instead of large, the second class, let's make it small like this. And instead of image 11, this one is supposed to be image 12. This one also image 12. And instead of rooftop view for this one, let's make it island paradise. Let's see, island paradise, like this. And now we are done with all the gallery HTML. Now let's just go on and create our footer, which will be the last thing we're going to do. Our footer, since we're done with that, we're going to be adding this one outside this div tag. So let's just come down and create our footer. But first, let's add a comment. Our footer like this. Let's say footer like this. And let's just come down right here. Let's say footer like this. And let's give a class to our footer. And I think the class we're going to be given this one, let's just call it something very simple like gallery footer, just like that. Let's say class gallery dash footer, like this, gallery footer. And let's come down right here and create a div tag. And for this div tag, what we're going to do is that let's just give it a class. And the class we're going to be given this div tag is going to be called something like, let's say class, let's just say footer content, footer dash content, sorry, content. Yes, I hope I spell it correctly. Content, just like that. And let's also create another div tag right here. And for this div tag, what we're going to do is that let's also give it a class. In this one, we're going to be storing our social icons, those social media icons. We're going to be storing them inside here. So let's just say, let's give it a class. And the name of this class should be footer dash something like, let's just say footer social, like that. Something very simple. I hope you're all okay with the names I'm giving them, because sometimes it's just like that. You just have to come up with a very good name, something you can remember, something very simple. So what you're going to do is that let's just add an anchor tag right here. And what you're going to do is that let's just put in a hashtag for this one. But just know that we're going to be adding the links before, after we finish writing the code, I will be adding the links for all of them. Right now, what we need to do is that let's just come in right here and let's just create an area label. And most of the times we create an area label for things that do not have any proper caption, just like an icon. Since we're going to be adding icons from Font Awesome, we're only going to just say this one, the area label for this one, let's just say this one is from my Facebook, since it is the first icon I'm going to be adding. And what we're going to do is that since we've created an area label for this one, let's just add our I tag like this. And let's also give it a class. This I tag, let's give it a class. And the class we're going to be giving this one is going to be a Font Awesome class, which is FAB space FA dash Facebook. Just like that. For Facebook, like that. And the reason why I added this area label, since as you can see, we're not going to be adding anything in between our anchor tags, maybe it's like a text like this one. We're not going to be adding anything like that. We're only going to be leaving it blank. So I know this icon is going to appear. Since it is going to appear, we normally add area label for like icons or things we're not going to be adding text to, just like we did right here actually. So what we're going to do is that let's just copy this one right here and paste it right here and paste it. Oops, I forget something. And you're also supposed to, you also notice that I forget it, because by the time we finish, we're going to know. But since we remember it early, we did not add a target blank for our links. Let's say target like this. Let's say blank, so that we will be having them opening a new tag whenever we click on them, so that it will not just be replacing the current tab we have. Target blank. And for this one also, let's add a target blank to it, just like that. And let's save it. But now let's just add our links. Instead of this hashtag, what we're going to do is that let's replace it with my Facebook link. So let me just copy my Facebook link right now. Let's copy it with Control C, and instead of this hashtag, let's replace it with this one. This is my Facebook link. And for this one, what we're going to do is that let's add the link of my Twitter, that is x.com, since that is the name it has been changed to. Let me add the link of my Twitter. Control C, and let's paste the link right here with Control V. And right now, instead of having this area label of Facebook, let's change the area level to, instead of Facebook, let's make it Twitter. Since I don't know why it has been changed to X. I like it much more when it was Twitter. Like this. Let's say Twitter. Oh, let's not do that. Instead of Twitter, let's just say x.com. Like this. Since it has been changed to x.com technically. Alright, let's just leave it like that. But first, let's change this name of font awesome from for Facebook. Let's make it to for Twitter. Since that is what it has been changed to. Let's say Twitter, like this. And let's come right here and also change this one from area label of Facebook. Let's make it to Instagram, like this. And for this link, let me just copy the link of my Instagram and let's just paste it right there. And let me do this and paste it right here. We have changed the area label, and for the target is blank. Right now, let's just change the class. So for the class, it should be Instagram, like this. Instagram, like this. So now we are done with the HTML. Let's save it with Control S and go back inside our browser and see what we have so far. Even though it is not going to be looking good, it is going to be having these giant images and everything, just like that, very unarranged, just like this. Is what I mean. You'll be having all the images in their largest size, just like this, and everything will just be looking like this. So let's just scroll down and see if we have our social media icons. Yes, as you can see, we have them right here. So, and let's just click on them and see. If we were to click, it will work. It will take you to Instagram, and for this one, if we were to click, it will take you to Twitter. This one also, it will take you to Facebook. So they are working perfectly. Right now, what we need to do is just close this one, and close this one as well. So we have our HTML. Everything that we need for HTML is already inside. Hope you are still with me right to this stage. If you're still with me, then let's move into writing our CSS. What we need to do is that let's go back inside our text editor right now and open up our CSS by clicking it like this. All right, and now for the CSS. And for the CSS also, what you're going to do is that we are going to implement the same commenting method we use for the HTML so that we can have a very clear understanding of whatever it is that we're styling at the time we're styling it. So first of all, let's start by making some reset styling like this. And as you all know, to write a comment in CSS, we have to start it with this /* and then / whatever comes between is a comment. So first of all, what we're going to do is that let's say reset styling like this, and let's come down. What we're going to do is that let's target all, like we're going to add in this star symbol. And as you all know that this star symbol means we're targeting all the tags in our HTML. That is what it means. So by adding this star, we're targeting all, that is all the tags. So what we're going to do is that let's just start by removing in the margin like this. Margin, let's make it 0. And for the padding, let's also make it 0 like this. And I think the last thing we're going to add for all is, let's say, box sizing. Let's add a box sizing, and let's make it border box like this. And we're done the styling for the reset styling. That is what we're only going to be adding for it. And the next thing we're going to be styling is the body. So let's just copy this comment just to make it easy. And let's paste it right here. And here, instead of reset, let's type in body like this, body styling. And let's just come down right here and target our body tag like this. And for the body tag, what we're going to do is that let's start by changing the font family. Let's go with font family like this. And for the font family, what we're going to do is that let's just give it an Arial font family. Arial. Like this. And let's come down and let's give it a background like this. And for the background, what we're going to do is that we're going to make it a linear gradient color. Like this. What we're going to do is that let's just say linear gradient. And let me just copy in the color that we're going to be adding for this linear gradient. Let me just copy them with Control C and let's paste them right here with Control V. 120 degree. This one is just white, just like this, F4, F4, F9. As you can see, this is the color right here. And for this one, it's a little bluish color like this. And this is the color just right here, as you can see. So the next thing we're going to be adding for our body is the overflow. We're going to make it overflow, and the overflow should be on y-axis like this. The overflow on y-axis, that is the one we are targeting specifically. Let's just make it a scroll like this, scroll like this. And I think we're also done with the body styling. So let's just come down right here, and also just to make it easy, let's just copy our commenting and paste it here. Instead of this body styling, just make it header styling like this. Let's say header styling just like this. And for the header styling, what we're going to do is that we will start by targeting that gallery header class we have created. So let's just do this. Let's say gallery dash header like this. I think I didn't make any typo. Gallery header like this. And for this one, what we're going to do is that we are going to start by text aligning the text inside to center like this. Text align, let's make it center, and let's give it a padding. For the padding, we're going to give it a 20 pixel padding from all sides, that is top and bottom, left and right. And so we're giving it 20 pixel. And for the background, we're also going to give it a background as usual. Let's just give it our default background that we normally used to give, which is this dark color 333 like this. And for the text color inside that header, let's make it something like this color. Let's make it white. Since the background is dark, so it's better we make the color a white color so that we can have everything the way we want. And now, just for this one, if we are to save it and go back inside our browser, I know the styling that we did isn't that much, but at least if you can see what we are styling at the time we are styling it, it will give us a much more better understanding of what we are going to do. Now let's just refresh it. As you can see, we have this text being the way it has just started applying the styling we have just added to it right now. So let's go back inside our code and continue. And what you're going to do is that we are not done with the header styling, so let's just call in the gallery header class, this one, and let's target the h1 inside the gallery header. And right now what we're going to do is that we're going to give it a font size like this, font size. And also today what we're going to do is that I'm going to use another measure for our text. Maybe like we normally used to add pixels for this one, and for today's episode I decided we should go and try something new, like this measure 2.5 em, just like this. It is also another measurement unit for text in CSS, just like this. You know, we can use inches, we can use pixel, we can use centimeters, and now we're just going to use this one for now. 2.5 em is also another unit of measurement in CSS for text. So right now let's just go and give it a margin. And for the margin, I think let's just give it a margin bottom to be specific. And for the margin bottom, we're only going to give it 10 pixels so that it won't be that much of a gap between it and the image we're going to have. So I think let's just leave it like this. 10 pixel is okay. And let's just come down. Let me scroll a bit. And if we were to come down, let's target the paragraph tag inside our gallery header like this. Let's target the p tag like this. And what we're going to do is that let's also give it a font size so that it won't be having that default font size it normally used to have. And for this one, we're also going to give it let's give it 1.2, since it's just a paragraph. It's just a paragraph text. 1.2 em like this. 1.2 em like this, and I think it's okay. And let's also change the color to be specific and make the color white, hashtag FFF, like this. And I think that's it. We're done with the gallery header. This class, we're done with that one. So now let's move on. And if you had to save it, let's assume you want to see whatever it is that you are styling right now, your current progress with the styling. If we were to refresh it, as you can see, it's just normally take a little bit of time to load. Yes, because of the images we have, they are kind of like heavy images, so they make it take a little bit of some split seconds before it load. But now, as you can see, this is what we have styled so far. We give it this background, this font size, and everything, just like this. So let's go back and continue styling. And the next thing we're going to be styling, let's just paste in our comment right now. And I think I have my comment right here on my clipboard. So what we're going to do is that, and if you want to access your clipboard, I don't know if you enable yours, but you only need to press in Windows key and V instead of Control V. It will show you all the things you have ever copied right from the first time you have opened your computer at that time. Windows key V. At the same time, it will open up your clipboard, as you can see. So right now, what we're going to do is that instead of body styling, what we're going to style next, I think, is our section titles. So let's just say section titles. Sorry, I normally used to make typos while styling. I don't know why. What we're going to do is that let's target the class gallery dash section, like this, and let's go on and style in the text align in our gallery section. And for this one, what we're going to do is that let's just make the text align to center like this, and let's move on and give it a margin. Let's say a margin of, from top and bottom, let's give it something like maybe to like 30 pixels. Yes, 30 pixels is okay. And from the left and right, let's make sure it doesn't have any margin, so let's make it 0. And I think that is okay. So let's come down. Let me just scroll in a little bit so that we can have a very clear view like this. And the next thing we need to style is our H2 inside that gallery section. So what we need to do is that let's target the gallery section class and let's target the H2 inside it. So right now, what we're going to do is that let's start with changing the font size to something like, let's say 2em, like this, and let's color like this. For the color, let's give it something a little bit slightly less darker than the one we normally have for our header. So let's just give it hashtag, let's just give it 444, since we just want it to be slightly different from the one we have for our header, just like this. And I think we are done with this one also. So let's just come down a little bit. We're done with our H2, and let's style the paragraph inside it. So let's go and target the gallery section like this, gallery section, and we are targeting the paragraph inside our gallery section. So let's go with P like this, and let's also change the font size to, let's just say 1em, since it's not supposed to be that big, 1em. And let's also change its color to be slightly different also. So let's just make it a little bit different also. So let's just give it something like 666 like this, and I think it's okay. So let's just come down. We're also done with this paragraph. The next thing we are going to style is our feature image. All these images that we have styled, we're going to start targeting them. So let's just copy our comment, Control C, and let's paste it right here. And instead of section titles, let's just say feature image. Let's say feature image like this. This is what we're going to be styling right now. And let's just scroll a little bit like this, and so that we can just have a very clear view of it. And first of all, let's just target the class gallery dash feature like this. I think I spelled it correctly. And let's just say, let's give it a width. And for the width, what we're going to do is that we're going to be giving it 100% width like this, 100% width just like this, so that it will cover in the entire size of the box it is inside. Now let's just give it a position. Sorry, instead of or let's say position. Let's give it a position of relative like this, so that will just be very relative attached to it. And the next thing we need to style is the height. Let's give it a height of something like 400 pixel, just like this. 400. Let's give it a size of 400 pixel like this. And let's make sure it doesn't have any overflow like this. Let's make it hidden like this. And for the margin bottom like this, for the margin bottom, what we're going to do is that let's just give it 20 pixel like this. And I think this is pretty much all we need for this gallery feature for now. And it has everything: the width, the position, height, overflow, and margin bottom. It has them all. So let's just come down and style the image specifically inside this gallery feature. So what we're going to do is that let's target the class gallery feature like this, and let's target the image inside it. So what we're going to do is this, and the image, we want it to have that 100% width, so that to cover the entire width of our browser, just like we have it right here. Let me show you what I mean. As you can see on this one, let's just wait for it to load for just 2 seconds. Let's wait for it to load. I don't know. Yes, as you can see, it is covering entire width of our browser right here. So we want it to cover it just like that. When we are going to be styling this one, we want this image to be like that. So let's just give it a width of, let's say, 100% like this, and a height of also 100%, so that the image can be visible entirely, so that we can be able to see it. It will fit in the side of the container 100%. So let's just give it a height of also 100%, just like this. And let's do one thing to make sure it will only fit in that container. Let's make it object. This is also something new. I think object fit like this. Let's just make it to cover the container, just like this. It will just cover it, just like that. And I think we're also done with this one. So let me just scroll down a little bit like this, and let's come down. The next thing we need to style is the text for this image. That is, we are targeting this text. Let it show after it load. I don't know why it's taking a little bit longer to load right here. We're going to style in this one right now. And what we need to do is that let's go back inside our browser and let's target the feature caption. Since you know this one has 2 classes. The first class is gallery feature, and the second class it has is the feature caption. Just like here we have it in our HTML. Let me show you where they are located, even though I know most of you can remember what we did right there. As you can see, it has this class gallery caption, and it also has another class gallery feature. So we have used the first styling to target this one, and the second styling is going to target this one specifically. So let's just copy it and let's create a class, paste it, gallery feature, feature caption. This is the one we are styling, feature caption. And for this one, what we're going to do is that we're only going to change the font size to, let's say, 2em, this. And let's come down right here and make the text transform, because right now the text is just as the way we write it, and we want it to be an uppercase text. So let's just say text transform right here, and we can always choose the way we want it to be. We can make it all to be lowercase, and we can even make it none so that it will appear uppercase. But right now what we're going to do is that we're only going to make it uppercase instead of capitalized. We're going to make it uppercase right now. So that is why, as you can see, let me show you what I mean. As you can see, the text inside here is a stunning white view. It has a mixed up of capital letters, like this A is a capital letter, and the W and the V, but some of them are just small letters. And we want them to all be appearing in an uppercase. Instead of writing them, you can always use that in CSS. This is another good way of controlling your text with your CSS. And now if we were to save it, and let's assume we are to go back inside our browser, this is our page. If we are to refresh, let's wait for it to load, because it normally used to take as you can see, the text is still invisible, but it has changes to capitalized, just like we have it right here. Let it pop up. As you can see, a stunning white view, it is capitalized, even though we didn't capitalize it in our HTML. So we can always use text transform to make sure it works the way we want. So let's go back inside our code and continue. And the next thing we need, let's just add our comment. We're going to start the general caption styles. All the captions we have, we're just going to give them a style. So let's add this comment, let's add this comment like this. And let's come in right here and see general caption styles. Let's see general caption, styles, just like this. And this is it. So let's just come down right here and target the gallery caption class like this. Gallery dash caption like this class, gallery caption. That is what we're targeting. And first of all, what we're going to give it is we'll have to make sure we give it a position of absolute. Let's say position, let's make it absolute. And for the bottom, let's remove all the bottom for it. Bottom, let's make sure it is 0. And we also need to style the left side of it. For the left, let's also make the left to 0 instead. Let's just leave it 0, just like that. You understand what I mean? And for the width, this one, let's give it a width of 100% so that to just cover in the entire container, so that it will fit in the way we want. So, and the next thing is, I think we should just style the background. Let's go in and style the background. And I know if you will notice, I've been using background a lot instead of background color. I just decided to go with the background styling instead of just the background color specifically. So what we're going to do is that we're going to be giving it an RGBA color. And the reason is because we want it to be transparent. Because let me show you something. As you can see, let it appear. We have to wait for it a little bit. When you hover on this one, when you hover on this one, let me show you. Let's wait. When you hover, as you can see, this background color is dark, but at the same time, it is a transparent color because you can see through these trees and grasses that are at the bottom through it. That is where RGBA color comes in. Let me show you a much more better understanding of what I mean. Let's say RGBA like this. And for RGBA, there is always a transparent color. So let me delete all these colors and let me add in the color that I want. And it's just going to be a black color. Just to make it fast, you can always tap it. Let's copy and let's paste it right here. This 0, 0, 0 are the value of the color. The first 3 zeros are the color's value because we are going to add a black color. Black color in RGB color is 0, 0, 0 is the color code for black color. And this 0.6 at the end is the transparency level that we want this thing to have. Because as you can see now, I can always increase the transparency ranging from here to here. When it is at the top, the RGBA right here, the A that is right here will disappear. But once we started making the transparency appear, the A will appear, and then the value, as you can see, the color code is 0, 0, 0, and then this is the transparency level we're having 0.775. This is it. But for now, we only wanted to have a 0.6 transparency. That is what we did right here. So let's just make it 0.6 transparency, just like that. That is what we did. And the text color, so let's make sure we didn't left it unchecked. For the text color, let's make it white because now by default it's a black color. And right now, let's come down and make sure the text align is also at the center, just like this. And let's also give it some padding of 10 pixels from all sides. Let's say padding of 10 pixels like this so that it wouldn't be so attached to the background, just like that. And let's also give it something like opacity. Let's give it an opacity of let's just remove the opacity. Let's make it 0. Let's give it an opacity of 0 like this. And the transition is that the thing is that I set the opacity to 0 at the top, but let me show you something right here. What we're going to do is that we're going to make a transition and we're going to target the opacity of this text so that it will just be easy, it will just show in within 0.4 seconds of hovering on it. It will just show in slowly within 0.4 seconds, just like that. Let's say transition, like this. For the transition, what we are targeting is the opacity transition, like this. We're targeting the opacity transition, and we're going to make it 0.4 second instead of the 0.3 second I normally used to use. I just decided to go with 0.4 seconds today, and let's make it ease, just like this. And the next thing we need to style for this one, I think, is the font size. Let's also have a control over the font size. So sorry, I write fin instead of font. Let's say font size. And for the font size, what we're going to do is that let's just give it a 1 EM font size, like this. And for the font weight, let's also give it a font weight. It's like that. We just want it to be fancy. That's why we're adding all this style into it. Let's just make it a bold font weight, like this. And the text transform, what we're going to do is that text transform, like this. Let's make the text transform to opaques, like this. Opaques, just like this. And I think we're also done with all this general caption styling that we did, because all these things that we added, they will help us in controlling how our font will appear. So now the next thing we need to style, but first let's just copy our comment in and let's paste it right here. And the next thing we need to style is actually how the caption will show when it's hovered. So let me show you what we're going to do here. But first, let's just change this text under this here, and let's make it something like show caption on hover, something like that. I don't know. Show caption on hover, like this. So because what you're going to be styling here is how the caption will appear when we hover on the images. This is it, what you're going to do. And what you're going to do is that we're going to target two things at the same time. But first, let's do this. Let's target the class gallery item first. Gallery dash item, like this. Gallery item, and we are targeting a hover, like this. And the hover, we want it to appear when we hover. We want the gallery caption, like this. We want it after we hover. We are targeting the gallery caption, just like this. And this is not the only one we are targeting. We're also targeting the one for the gallery feature, just like this. So we are just going to separate them with a comma. Don't forget with the comma. Let's come down and target the class gallery feature, like this. And we're also targeting its hover, like this. And we want it to be, we're targeting the gallery caption inside the gallery feature also at the same time. So we're targeting the gallery caption, like this. Gallery caption, just like this. And the only thing we want it to be, as you remember right here, I set the opacity to 0 right here. And I want it to be in a way that when we are hovering on it, the opacity will change from 0. Let's just paste this one since we're only targeting the opacity from 0 to 1, like this. We want the opacity to be 1 instead of 0 when we're hovering on it. Right now, this is just what we did right here. And let's just come down a little bit right here, and let's also add another commenting because we're done with this one. And right now, what we're going to do is that let's just change this caption that is right here. What we're going to be styling is the grid layout here. So let's just say gallery grid layout, like this. And I think this is it. So let's come down right here and target the class gallery, like this. And let's come down and make the display to be grid, just like this. And by making the display grid, we are targeting the grid layout directly. So now whatever we're going to do beneath this one is going to be how we want the grid to appear and everything, just like this. So let's go with grid template column, like this. Grid template column, like this. And we want the column to be in a repeat like this. We want it to repeat, and inside the repeat we want to make it auto fit, auto dash fit like this, and comma. We also want it to have a minimum and maximum size of 150 pixel like this. So we are going to go for min max like this, minimum maximum of, we are to open a bracket again of 150 pixel, and we want it to be in order of 1 frame, just like this. I hope you understand what I did right there, because I've already explained almost everything in our grid layout episode. So if you want to watch the episode again, you can just go on and watch it so that you might have a better understanding of what we did. But it's just so clear. We just make the grid template column to be auto fit and have a minimum and maximum height of size of 150 pixel, and its repeat order is just going to be in 1 frame. So right now we are going to go for grid auto rows like this, grid dash auto rows like this, grid auto rows. We want to make it to 150 pixel, just like we did with the min max like that, so that we won't have any conflict of different sizes. And for the gap, we want it to have a gap of maybe something like let's just go with 15. No, let's just go with 10 pixel. I think 10 pixel is okay. Let's just say 10 pixel, just like that. And let's give it a padding. And for the padding, let's just give it maybe like 20 pixel padding, since it only have a gap of 10 pixel. And let's see now, the next thing we need to style is the height. We want it to have a height of 100% to its container. This is it. And I think we are done with also the styling. So let's just come down. Let's scroll down a little bit. And now let's target the different sizes of the images, because you know our images don't have the same sizes. Even inside our image gallery, some are large, some are small, and some are medium. This is what we are going to do here, different sizes of the image. But first, let's add a comment. Let's just remove this one, and let's say different sizes of the images like this. And let's just come down and start styling. What we're going to do is that we will target the class gallery, class gallery dash item, this. And for this class, what we're going to do is that we're going to target its position, and we're going to make the position relative, just like we did before. And we're also going to make sure it doesn't have any overflow. Let's make it heading, just like that. And we're also going to give it a border radius, so that it will have that curved edge, curvy, fancy edge, just like that. And let's say border radius like this. And for the border radius, let's just give it a 15 pixel border radius like this. And the next thing is a box shadow. Let's give it some box shadow, because as you can see, it has that box shadow right there. And for the box shadow, what we're going to do is that let's just give it 0 from this side, and maybe something like 8 pixel, like I normally used to do 8 pixel, and then 20 pixel like this, 20 pixel. And we're also going to give it an RGBA color, so that it won't be so bold shadow, because shadow are not as bold. Shadow are almost always transparent. So let's just copy an RGBA color. It's a black RGBA color with a transparency of 0.3, just like this, as you can see. It's a black color with a transparency of 0.3. This is the color. So I think the next thing we need to give it is maybe a transition. Yes, a transition will make it even much more fancier. So let's just give it a transition like this. Transition, and for the transition, we're only going to change it for the transform. Sorry. Transform. Am I writing it correctly? I'm not sure. Transform. Yes, it's correct. And for the transform, what we're going to do is that we're going to give it a 0.4 second like this. And we're not only targeting the transform for the transition. Since we are targeting the transition for the transform, and also we are targeting the transition for the box shadow, two things at the same time, we have to separate them with a comma like this. and then let's say box dash shadow. I just hope I'm spelling all these things correctly. Box shadow 0.4 seconds also, sorry, 0.4 seconds. Yes, like this. So now when we are hovering on it, this one will be having a 0.4 second transform, so as the box shadow, just like that. And I think we are done with this one. This is like a general styling for all the images that we have. Now let's specify the sizes of our large and the medium and then the small one. First of all, let's start by targeting the gallery item class large. Let's say gallery dash item, and then let's target the class large inside it like this, class large. And let's go on like this, and let's just change the grid row and the grid column for this one. So let's start with the grid row. Let's say grid dash row like this. And for the grid row, let's just give it maybe something like 2 span. Span, then 2, like this. This is how it's supposed to be. And right now, let's also give it a grid column of 2 span as well. Let's say grid column. Let's say span 2, just like this. And that is it. Let's just come down right here and target the class gallery item. But for this one, we're going to target the medium like this. Gallery item dot medium like this. Medium. We're targeting the medium one here. And let's just say like this. And let's make it a grid row. This one, let's just target the grid row for this one. Let's say grid row. It is right here. Let's make it span 2 span. Span 2 like this. And the last but not the least, I think, is the small. Let's see class gallery item like this. Gallery dash item like this. And we're targeting the class small like this. And this is it. And for the small one, we're only going to style for the column so that it will just be on one side, just like that. So let's see grid column, let's see span 2 like this. And I think we're also done with the different sizes of the image styling. So the next thing we need to style, let me just paste in, let me just paste in our comment right here. And what we're going to do is that we're just going for the image styling directly, since we've already finished the styling of the sizes. So let's just go for the image styling. So let's say image styling like this. And for the image styling, what we're going to do is that let's target the class gallery item, gallery dash item like this. And inside that class gallery item, we're targeting the images inside img like this. And what we're going to do is that let's start by changing the width to 100% width like this. And for the height also, height to our 100% height, just like this. And the next thing is that let's make sure that it has an object fit like this, to make it a cover object fit, so that it will cover in the box entirely, like a thumbnail, just like that, just like having a thumbnail for it. You just cover it 100%. And the next thing we are going to style is the transition. And for the transition, I think we're going to be styling 2 things. We're going to be styling the transform and the filter for this one. So let's just say transition. It is the third one, transition. And let's change the transform first. Let's say transform like this. And for the transform, let's just say 0.4 second. And that is it. So let's add a comma, since we're going to be styling 2 things. And sorry, before the comma, I think we should make it is like this. 0.4 second is like this. And let's add a comma like this. And let's add a filter for it. And for the filter, we're also going to be given a 0.4 second ease like this. And this is it. I think we're done with this one. So let's just go down a little bit and give it a hover. That hover effect is going to have. Now what we're going to do is that let's target the class gallery dash item. Let's gallery item. We are targeting its hover like this. Hover like this. img and like this. So we're going to target the transform. And the thing is that we're going to make it transform in this way. Let me show you what this transform effect will make it do. Let me show you something like this. If we go back inside our browser, let's wait for it to load a little bit. As you can see, these images, when we hover around them, they just become a little bit zoom out. As you can see, after all this dark effect they're going to have and this caption is going to appear, they just zoom in a little bit. They just zoom in a little bit, just like this. And this is what we're going to do for it right here. We're going to make the scale of the transformation to be, instead of 1, it will just be 1.1, so that we have that zoom effect of a little slightly bit of zoom effect that is having right now. So the transform scale on hover of images, that is what we did. The transform is going to be, let's say the scale should be something around 1.1 like this. That will make it have that a little bit zoom out. And the reason why it is becoming a little bit that darker, we are going to reduce the brightness of it. So what we are going to do is that, let's say filter, we target the brightness with filter. So let's say brightness, we're going to target the brightness. And right now, as you can see, before we hover around it right here, the image is very clear, but whenever we hover around it right now, it becomes a little bit dark and it will just zoom out. That is what we're going to do. We are going to make it to have this, the brightness is going to be slightly less than 100%, because as you can see, it become a little bit darker and the zoom out become a little bit much more than the fit one it normally used to have. That is what we're going to do here. The brightness is going to be somewhere around 70% instead of 100%. That is just what we did right here. That is the effect of adding this transform of 0.4 second and the filter of 0.4 second as well. So right now, let's just go down. I think we're also done with the image styling, all of it. So let's just style the box of the image. So before that, let's add a comment. Control C, add the comment right here. And instead of image styling, oops, I even made a typo in this image. Instead of image styling, let's remove the image styling and change it to fancy box shadow or hover. Let's just leave it like that. I don't know the name to add for it. You can just type in, since it's just a comment, you can just type in the name that will make you remember what you did there much better. Fancy box shadow on hover, like this. Because as you can see, we have a default box shadow just like this. There is a box shadow, but whenever we hover around it, the box shadow became a little bit much more darker than it normally it is. It's make it more darker. The box shadow at the edge of it become much more darker. That is what we are going to be styling for this one. So that is just what we are going to do right now. So let's just scroll down a little bit and come down right here. And now I think what we are going to do is that, let's just say, let's target the gallery item as well, gallery item class, and let's target its hover like this, and let's go for it like this. And I think we should target the transform. So let's say transform, and for the transform, we're going to make it translate to y-axis. That is what we're going to do. And for that, we're going to make it, let's just say, translate to y-axis, translate y like this. And let's make it something like minus 5 pixel. I think that should be okay for it. And that is it. So for the box shadow, let's also make the box shadow to be like something around 0.5, so that it just be much more bulky and bold, just like that. So let's say box shadow like this. Box shadow, let's make it 10 pixel And instead of just 20, let's just make it 30 for now, since we want it to be very clear and vivid. 30 pixel. And let me just copy in an RGBA color. It's just a black color, and a black color of an RGBA. And instead of having it at 0.3 like we have it before this hover, it is going to be 0.5. It will make it even much more darker, because as you can see now, the scale is in 0.5. You can increase it if you want, but I won't recommend it. Right now, I think we are done with all the fancy styling of everything. You know what? Let's just save it and refresh our page so that we can see how it looks like so far. This is my page, and if we are to refresh, you have to wait for it to load for some seconds because it takes some time to load. As you can see, almost everything is the way we want it, all except for the hover. So now we are going to style the hover right now. So let's go back inside our code and make the styling for the hover. Let's come down right here. Let's just copy the commenting. Control C. Let's paste it here, and let's style the footer. Let's say footer styling like this, or let's just leave it like that. Footer styling. Let's come down. Let's start with targeting the gallery footer class we created. Gallery dash footer like this. And let's just come down right here and go for the background styling. So let's just say background like this, background styling, and let's make it dark, just like our header. So let's give it this one like this, and let's just change the color of the text inside or those elements, those social media icons we've added. Let's change their color to hashtag FFF, our exit semicolon. That's it. And let's come down again and make sure they are on the center. So let's just go with text align to center like this. And for the padding, let's give them some padding. And for the padding, what we're going to do is that let's give it a 20 pixel at the top and bottom, and let's give it a 0 pixel at the left and right. And now let's just give it a margin top like this, margin top. And for the margin top, I think let's just give it something like 40 pixel like this, so that we just have a little bit distance at the top. And let's also give it a position of relative so that there won't be any space. They will just be following in the same order. Let's make it position to relative like this, position relative. And I think we're also done with this section. So let's just move in right here, come down a little bit, and let's style the gallery footer, and let's start the gallery footer content inside our gallery footer. So what we're going to do is that let's start by targeting the gallery footer class, gallery dash footer like this, gallery footer class, and let's also target the class footer content. Let's say footer dash content like this. And what we're going to do is that let's give it a maximum width of 800 pixel. Let's see, max width of 800 pixel, 800 pixel like this. And let's come down and give it a margin of let's just leave it auto so that it will just be in the center. And I think that is it. Just leave it like this. Let's come down and style the footer social media icons we have, the social icons we have. So let's style them. So let's target them with the class gallery footer. Let's target them with the class gallery footer, gallery dash footer like this. And let's target the footer social, the class footer social we create, footer dash social like this. And let's come down right here and give it a margin. And for the margin, what we're going to do is that, and I think we're only going to be giving it a margin. So let's just give it a 10 pixel from the top and bottom and 0 pixel, since we have already added a lot of padding right here. 20 pixel, and we don't want it to have a lot of margin, so it will just be looking not okay. So let's just leave it like this. And I think we're only going to give this one a margin. So let's come down right here and style our social, those links we create for our social media. Let's come down and target gallery footer again. Gallery dash footer, and we are going to be targeting those footer social, this ones. We're going to be targeting this ones, and we're going to be targeting the anchor tags inside them, that is the links. Now we're targeting those social media icons, the Facebook, the Twitter, and the Instagram. We're targeting those icons directly right now. So let's see, margin, and for the margin they will have 0 pixel at the top and bottom, and let's give it a 10 pixel from the left and right, just like this. And let's come down and add a color to them, and I don't want the color to be very vividly clear, so I'm not going to be giving it a white color. Hashtag AAA. Like now, let's say we're going to be giving it a font size. Now we're targeting a font size of, let's say 1.5 pm, just like that. You can always increase the size if you want. And let's also give it a transition color. Let's say a transition, and we're going to be targeting the color and the transform. So let's see color, we're going to give it a 0.3 second, and comma, we are also going to give it a transform. I'm not going to give it an ease, just like that, because it's just an icon. So you can give it an ease if you want, but we're also going to target the transform right here, 0.3 second, and let's also give it a text decoration. So let's remove the text decoration of that underlined text decoration. Let's remove the text decoration to none, so that you won't be having that underline, even though they are just icons, but they will also be having that underline because they are quoted inside an anchor tag. We're also done with this one. So the next thing we need to style, I think maybe we should just style the hover of those icons right now. So let's just say gallery footer, gallery dash footer, like this, and let's target the footer social, like this, footer social, and then let's target their anchor tags, and then we're going to style it hover like this. And this is it. First of all, let's just change the color. When hovering, it should be white. Let's see, hashtag FFF, because as you can see, the color right here is not white, it's just this ash color, or let's say it is just not white. This is the color, as you can see it, but we want it to be white only on hover instead of it to be dark on hover. Now we are just making it the other way around, and it's just a new way of making it look much more fancy. It's good to try new things time to time. So the next thing is that we're going to change it transform. Sorry, I didn't put in the exit semicolon right here. So let's say transform. For the transform, let's just make sure the scale has increased, that is the size of it has increased. So let's say scale, and instead of 1.1 like we did with our image, let's give it a 1.2 like this, and that is what we give it this effect. Let me just show you inside our browser. Let's refresh first before it shows, and as you can see, this is our footer. You know what, I think we're missing this this copyright icon. We didn't add it in our HTML. It completely slipped my mind, so let's just go in and add it. But for now, you can see this effect is applying. They're just becoming a little bit bigger. It is not noticeable, but if you are to observe it, if you want it to be noticeable, you can always increase the scale size, maybe to something like 2 or 3 or 4. It will just make it a burst, but don't make it don't go a little bit extra, just like that. Just play around with it, you'll notice. But for now, as you can see, the color hover is picking. But first and first, let's just go and add that copyright text. I don't know why I forget that. Let's go inside our HTML, and let's just come in right here and create paragraph tag, so that we just add in our copyright text. And let's also give it a class, since it is going to be our copyright. Let's just say footer copyright. I don't know, footer dash copy right. I hope this is how you write copyright. I don't know why I'm struggling with this balance today. And to add that copyright icon, you all know how to do it, and copy semicolon like this. And let's just see tech with Ismaeel. We can just say stunning gallery. Gallery. Tech with Ismaeel, stunning gallery. Let's just see all right resolved. All right resolved like this. I hope I spelled resolved correctly. I missed an R. Resolved. I hope this is how it is being spelled correctly. So let's just save it. This is the only thing we missed. And now if we were to go back inside our browser and refresh, you would see it appearing. But first, you know, we have to wait for it to load a little bit so that, as you can see, this is the text, but it doesn't have any styling. So let's just go on and give it some styling also. Let's go back inside our CSS, and right now, since I already finished with that one, let's just go on and style those I tags we have inside, and we just want the cursor to change for them. It's not a big deal. We just go in gallery footer, gallery footer like this, and then we'll tag it in footer social, and then the I tags, and then we're only going to change the pointer event to none. Pointer events, let's make them none, just like this, and that is it. So I think we're also done with it. So the next thing we only need to style is this copyright text we have just added recently, and let's just come down and let's also give it a comment like this. And let's come in between right here. Let's just see copyright text. I don't know. Copyright text. We're only going to style that. So this styling is only for it. Let's just say, let's call the name of the class footer copyright. Footer dash copyright like this. Footer copyright like this. And let's see. Let's just give it a margin top like this. A margin top of something like 15 pixel like this. And let's just give it also a font size of something like, we don't want it to be big. We can just give it, let's say 1 EM. You can even make it 0. Yes, let's say maybe like something like 0.9 EM. You can make it whatever you want. Since it's going to transform, let's just leave it like this. 0.9 EM. And if you want, you can just make it 1 EM. I just want you to understand the scale of this measurement. You can always use 0.1, 0.2, 3, 4, 5. You can always use them like that. You have a lot of flexibility while you are working with this one. So let's just change the color so that it shouldn't be that white. So let's make it 666, like the one we have for our icons before hover. So we're just going to leave it like that. And now I think we are done with it. Oh, you know what? Let's add a little bit of responsiveness to our styling. I know I'm just trying to go a little bit extra with this thing so that we can have that little bit sense of responsibility for our styling. We've already treated responsive design in HTML and CSS. We have that episode. If you want, you can go and watch it. And I'm just going to give it a little bit slight ones that I think they are necessary. You can go a little bit extra mile if you want, because you have already learned how to do it in this series. If you've been following whatever we have been doing right from the beginning, you should have known how to do that. But right now, what we're going to do is that let's just give it a little bit responsiveness adjustment. So let's add a comment, but we are done with all the styling. This one is just an extra for this one. So let's make it a responsive adjustment. Responsive adjustment, just like this. And I think we're only going to target one media screen. Let's just say at media only screen, let's just see, let's open a bracket, let's see, max width of maybe something like 768, let's see, 768 pixel. So this styling will only picked in when the screen size reaches 768 pixel. And what we're going to target is that we're going to start targeting the class gallery. We want the class gallery to have this styling of, we want the gap, so it will just be, it will not be margin all in one place when we are squeezing it or when we are viewing it in a different screen. Let's see, the gap should be something like 8 pixel, sorry, 8 px, like this. And let's come down right here, and what we're going to do is that let's style the gallery item large, medium. So let's just see, let's see, gallery item like this. Let's just target the class gallery item, gallery dash item like this. Let's target the large class first. Sorry, I made a typo. Large like this. And what we're going to do is that we're just going to be given the grid row and the grid column span to be 1 so that the size will decrease. Let's just say grid dash row, which is first. Let's make the span to be 1 when the screen has been squeezed so that the size will decrease. And let's say grid column, this one, let's also make the span to 1, just like this. And I think this is what we're going to do right now. And you know what, just to make it fast, let's just copy whatever we have right here and let's just paste it right here with Ctrl V. And instead of large, let's make this one medium, like this. Gallery item medium. And for this one, we're only going to style the row, only giving the styling to the row. Span should be 1, and I think maybe let's just add a little bit styling for the footer as well so that we'll have much more control over everything. Let's just see gallery dash footer. Let's target the footer, the social media icons, that is the links we have. Footer dash social, we're targeting these ones, and we're targeting the anchor text inside them. And let's just say margin, let's make it 0 pixel at the top and bottom, and let's make it 10 pixel from left and right. And let's come down right here and style the font size. I think that's the only thing we need to do. Let's just leave it like this. Let's just leave it like this. I don't want it to be any much more than this. Let's just leave it like this, 1.2 em, like this, and this is it. I think we have almost everything right here. So let me just make sure that everything is okay. And now we are done with everything in the code. So let's just go back inside our browser and refresh so that we can see what we have so far. As you can see, this is our stunning image gallery. It has all the effects, this hover effect, and the image is being zoomed out, and everything is working so perfectly the way we want it to work. As you can see, even though it is lagging a little bit, it just has to, because the images are a little bit heavy. Right now, as you can see, everything is working in just fine. And for our social media links, they're also working, because now if I'm to click in this one, it will just open up my Facebook. As you can see, just like that. But this is it. And I know we have a lot to process for this episode, because this is like the longest episode we have so far in this series entirely. And you just have to watch it over again if you think you need to, but I hope you will be able to understand everything we did right here. This image gallery is just a way of making you understand how you can use HTML and CSS more, and it's a very, very good project for beginners and intermediate and even pros. If you want to try something, this is a very, very good project. You can always use it in a lot of ways, such as maybe like creating an e-commerce website, because e-commerce website normally use image gallery for showcasing product, just like this, or just maybe like a photographer website or any website that showcase images. You can use this kind of approach to create an image gallery for it, just like that. And this will be the end of today's lesson. I hope you guys enjoy. See you in the next one.